My name is Daniel Brooks, and for most of my life, I believed that hard work mattered more than favoritism. I was wrong. At least, that's what I thought when I was 23 years old and sitting in my father's office, listening to him hand my younger brother everything I had spent years helping build. Looking back now, that day changed my life, but not in the way anyone expected. My father owned a successful chain of auto repair garages. Nothing glamorous, just honest work. Over the years, he expanded from one small garage into 6 locations across the state. The business supported our entire family. Growing up, my brother Ethan and I spent countless weekends there, sweeping floors, organizing tools, cleaning workstations, learning how the business operated. At least, I thought we were both learning. The reality was very different. My father adored Ethan. Everyone knew it. Nobody said it out loud, but everyone knew. If Ethan made a mistake, my father laughed it off. If I made a mistake, I received a lecture. If Ethan earned a B in school, my father celebrated. If I earned an A minus, he asked why it wasn't an A. I spent years trying to earn approval that never seemed to come. Eventually, I stopped trying, or at least I told myself I had. After college, I joined the family business full-time. I worked longer hours than anyone else. I managed inventory, negotiated supplier contracts, improved scheduling systems, reduced operating costs. Within 3 years, profits had increased significantly. I wasn't a genius. I simply cared. I believed I was investing in my future. Then came the meeting that changed everything. My father called the entire family together one Sunday afternoon. My mother was there. Ethan was there. A few senior managers were there. At first, I thought we were discussing expansion plans. Instead, my father stood up and made an announcement. I've decided it's time to prepare for retirement. Everyone nodded. Then he continued, Ethan will take over the company. The room erupted into applause. Everyone congratulated my brother. I sat frozen. My father wasn't giving Ethan a management position. He wasn't making him CEO. He was transferring majority ownership, the company, the assets, the future, everything, to Ethan. My brother looked shocked, then excited, then proud. Meanwhile, I sat there wondering if I had heard correctly. Finally, I spoke. What about me? The room became silent. My father looked directly at me. His answer still echoes in my head. You're smart. You'll figure something out. That was it. No explanation, no discussion, no recognition of the years I had spent helping grow the business. Nothing. Just, you'll figure something out. That night I barely slept. I wasn't angry about money. I was angry about what it represented. For the first time in my life, my father had made his position unmistakably clear. Ethan was his choice. I wasn't. The following morning, I resigned. My father seemed surprised. Ethan seemed confused. But neither tried very hard to stop me. And honestly, that hurt more than the decision itself. For the next 6 months, I struggled. I took consulting jobs, freelance projects, anything that paid the bills. Some months were good. Others were terrible. There were nights when I questioned everything. Maybe my father was right. Maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe I had overestimated my abilities. Then something happened, An elderly customer named Mr. Peterson contacted me. Years earlier, I had helped streamline operations at one of our garages. He remembered. Now he needed help improving efficiency at his manufacturing company. I accepted the project. The results exceeded expectations. Soon he recommended me to another business owner. Then another, then another. Slowly, my small consulting business began growing. For the first time, I wasn't working under my father's shadow. I was building something of my own. Meanwhile, Ethan was running the family company. At first, everything seemed fine. Social media posts showed expensive vacations, luxury cars, business conferences, success, at least on the surface. But appearances can be deceiving, and about 2 years later, cracks began to appear. One evening, I received a call from a former employee. "What exactly is happening over there?" I asked. There was a long pause. Then he said something that surprised me. "Your brother isn't listening to anyone." Apparently, experienced managers were leaving. Expenses were increasing. Customer complaints were growing. Several key employees had resigned. Yet Ethan ignored every warning. He believed the business would continue succeeding simply because it always had. What he didn't understand was that businesses don't run themselves. Success requires discipline, and discipline was never Ethan's strength. Still, I stayed out of it. The company was no longer my responsibility. Then came the phone call I never expected. 3 years after leaving, my father called. He wanted to meet. At first, I considered saying no, but curiosity won. We met at a small restaurant near the original garage. For several minutes, neither of us spoke. Finally, my father sighed. "The business is struggling." I already knew, but hearing him admit it was different. For the first time in my life, he sounded tired, older, almost defeated. Then he said something I never expected. "I made mistakes." Those 4 words carried more weight than anything else he said that day, because my father never admitted mistakes. Ever. He explained that profits were falling, debt was increasing, several locations were close to becoming unprofitable. He looked at me and asked, "Would you be willing to help?" Part of me wanted to refuse. Part of me wanted him to experience the consequences of his decisions. But another part remembered something important. The business wasn't just his. Hundreds of employees depended on it. Families depended on it. So I agreed on one condition. I would be treated as a professional consultant. Nothing more, nothing less. My father agreed. Over the next 6 months, I analyzed operations, reviewed financial reports, met with employees, examined customer feedback. The problems became obvious very quickly. The company had stopped rewarding competence. Decisions were based on loyalty instead of performance. Waste had increased dramatically. Accountability had disappeared. Worst of all, nobody wanted to challenge Ethan. They feared losing their jobs. Eventually, I presented a recovery plan. The board approved it. My father supported it. Ethan hated it. Every recommendation felt like criticism to him. Every change felt like a personal attack. The tension became unbearable. Then came the meeting that changed everything. During a board meeting, Ethan exploded. He accused me of trying to steal the company. He accused employees of betraying him. He accused our father of taking my side. For nearly 10 minutes, He shouted. Nobody interrupted. Nobody argued. They simply listened. And when he finally finished, something unexpected happened. My father stood up. The room became silent. He looked directly at Ethan. Then he said, "For years, I gave you opportunities that Daniel had to earn. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke." My father continued, "I thought I was helping you." His voice cracked. "But I was hurting both of my sons. You could have heard a pin drop." Then he turned toward me. "I should have recognized your work long ago." For a moment, I didn't know what to say, because for most of my life, that acknowledgement was all I wanted. Not money, not ownership, not status, recognition. The meeting ended shortly afterward. Over the following year, major changes were implemented. The business stabilized, profits returned, employees regained confidence. Things slowly improved. But the biggest change wasn't financial. It was personal. For the first time, my father treated me like an equal, not an afterthought, not the backup son, an equal. Ironically, by then, I no longer needed his approval. My consulting company had grown beyond anything I originally imagined. I had my own clients, my own team, my own success. The approval I spent years chasing no longer controlled my happiness. And that's when I finally understood something. Sometimes the greatest gift isn't being chosen. Sometimes the greatest gift is being overlooked. Because when nobody clears a path for you, you're forced to build one yourself. My father gave my brother the family business. He gave me nothing. At least that's what I believed at the time. But years later, I realized he had accidentally given me something far more valuable. The chance to discover exactly what I was capable of. And that changed my life forever. What would you have done if you were in my position?